And on the Afghanistan war debate in Parliament this week, the Prime Minister again moved today to clarify her warning that Australia will need to stay engaged in Afghanistan for at least another decade, saying this might mean training, support, aid and civilian works. But she wouldn't specify what this meant in terms of an ongoing military presence. The debate continues to dominate the Parliament, with the new Greens MP, Adam Bandt, and independent Andrew Wilkie calling for the withdrawal of troops. Political editor Heather Hewitt.
It's in our national interest to be in Afghanistan.
To ensure that Afghanistan never again hosts training camps for international terrorism.
There is no greater exercise of government power than to send the nation's armed forces to war.
Every life lost, Mr Deputy Speaker, is one too many.
There were no surprises. One after another, ministers, opposition frontbenchers and backbenchers were today adhering rigidly to bipartisan support for Australia's defence mission in Afghanistan. The Greens member Adam Bandt and Tasmanian independent Andrew Wilkie trod a lone path during the parliamentary debate that opened yesterday and will go on for days.
It is time to bring the troops home. It is time to bring the troops home safely and for Australia to shoulder the burden of Afghanistan's problems in a new way.
While the number of members speaking against the war in this place is small, the number of people out there concerned about the war is huge. In other words, numerous members are prepared to sit there behind your party's policy at the expense of genuinely representing the views of your constituents. And that is a shocking breakdown of democracy. Some things should be above party discipline, and this is one of them.
There may be the odd exception in the days ahead, but breaking party ranks in this so-called new paradigm is not something encouraged by the leadership of the major parties, no matter what the electorate might be thinking on this issue or any other. So for now, these are the only voices of dissent in the Parliament.
Yesterday the Prime Minister was talking about us still waging war in Afghanistan in 10 years' time. That was an extraordinary admission of the difficulties we've gone and got ourselves into, and entirely inconsistent with our national interest.
If coalition troops are there for another decade, a whole generation of boys and girls will have grown up under occupation, and we must expect all the consequences that may flow from that.
At a news conference, Julia Gillard was repeatedly asked to explain exactly what she meant in her speech to the House yesterday, when she warned Australia would have to stay engaged in Afghanistan in some form for at least another decade. This was all she could offer.
I have said that we will be engaged to the end of this decade at least, with training and support and civilian works, aid and development works. And then I have said I believe it will be the work of a generation of Afghans to build democracy.
Is that engagement to the end of the decade, in your mind, still military engagement, or is it other forms of engagement, civilian?
Well, I think we can conceptualise that there would be some overwatch functions for a period of time, and then we could conceptualise that there would be continued support for training over a period of time.
The Prime Minister was clearly at pains not to be too specific, nor was she interested in Adam Bandt's proposed bill to allow the Parliament to vote on any government decision to go to war.
The Greens hope that this debate can be a step towards the passage of our bill, which will mean, once and for all, in the future, the Australian people, through their representatives, will have a say in going to war.
No matter what side of this debate members are on, it's the deaths of 21 Australian soldiers in Afghanistan that brings out all the emotion. And today was no exception, as Andrew Wilkie, a former army man himself, read out all the names of those who died.
Nathan Buse, Jason Brown, Grant Kirby, Thomas Dale and Jared McKinney. You died serving your country, and I salute you. You died serving your country, and I salute you. May you rest in peace. And may my new colleagues in this place see the sense in ending this now, before too many more young Australians are sent to their deaths. Thank you.
While several hours will be set aside for this debate until it's run its course, the business of government does continue, and so does the politics. Amid reports, Julia Gillard has offered Andrew Wilkie, the former whistleblower on the Iraq War, a plum spot to sit on the Joint Parliamentary Committee on Intelligence and Security. There's growing consternation in coalition ranks. This may cost them a seat. Politics too over the introduction of a bill today to separate the wholesale and retail arms of Telstra.
So we are urging the opposition today to not delay this bill. With this legislation, we can effectively restructure the industry to build the national broadband network to deliver broadband services to all Australians at a uniform wholesale price.
So let's recognise the opposition stunts for exactly what they are. They are willfully delaying millions of Australians from getting a fairer deal on broadband and telecommunications services.
I just want to reject comprehensively the suggestion or the allegation from Senator Conroy that the Coalition is endeavouring to block or delay or frustrate the construction of the NBN. That is continuing.
The bill has lapsed in the Senate for months, with the opposition refusing to support it in its entirety. And for now, that remains the case, as the new communications spokesman says he'll take his time making a judgment.
Political editor Heather Ewart.